Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you all doing on this lovely Monday, the day after Palm Sunday? I hope you guys enjoyed your Palm Sunday at whatever place you chose to worship and celebrate Palm Sunday and the upcoming of this new week. Listen, we all know what we are here for. So today is the AuthorTube Tour Day 2. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is my first time doing an AuthorTube tour or even a tour of any kind, and even hearing about an AuthorTube tour. So I put this together, one, to help others who are wanting to step out of their comfort zone and do a virtual tour. So this can be a blueprint for to help you maneuver your way through being an author and how to you can use this as a how-to guide. You can look at this and see what to do and not to do. So we are here for it all. We are here for the learning. We are here for the growth. And most of all, we are here for the book reading. Okay. So this AuthorTube tour is reading you my excerpts from my book, the favorite things, some of the things that I wrote that really inspired me, that really transformed my way of thinking, that gave me a new understanding, new direction in the way that I was being a single mom and as well as being a single woman and realizing my I can in purpose, business, and family. So if you see a little bit of a vibration or shaking going on, listen, I'm so sorry about that. My setup is we on bed. We are in a comfortable setting, okay? And so because we are in a comfortable setting, you're going to see a little bit of shaking. So I'm trying to minimize as much as possible the shaking. But as we are gathering into this atmosphere, you guys know how I do. I love to set the atmosphere. I love to make sure everything is comfortable, everything is right, everyone is having a great time, everyone is, greeting one another. Even though it's virtual, we can still have a network. We can still be in community. We can still learn from one another. We can still say, how you doing? What's up? How are you? How's your day? We can still talk to one another. So go ahead in the comments and begin to leave those questions, begin to introduce yourself, begin to warm up. This is a virtual party. It's a virtual tour, so just like as you would in any virtual or any live setting, greeting people. So as my church do, stand up and greet somebody you didn't know. So stand up and let them know that you're glad to see them. I am glad to see you in this space, in this virtual AuthorTube that is going to it's really impactful. I hope you all caught the first AuthorTube because it was loaded. The kickoff Saturday. Listen, let me go ahead and rehash. I like to rehash things. I like to recap, I would say, things. And just to give you an up-to-date speed as to where we are, what's going on, and how you can be a major part of the upcoming, AuthorTube for day 3, okay, which will be taking place tomorrow. All right, so listen, if you missed the first day, you missed a treat. I am telling you, the way the atmosphere called for explaining even more certain excerpts that I read, it even blew my mind. Listen, the way the download happened while I was reading excerpts and understanding from a different place of what was going on and how it related to me and how I responded to my situations. Listen, one of the gems that I dropped in that during the excerpt was that my shame is my success. What someone else is labeling you as a deficit, as a deficiency, or as a handicap, guess what? God is wanting to use all of you, every part of you. You are able to fulfill every purpose and destiny that you have. Your shame, allow that to be your success. Don't wear it as a victim. Don't wear it as a place of dishonor and you're hiding and you're embarrassed, but rise to the occasion. Look and see, okay, this is going to meet somebody else's pain. What I'm dealing with, who I am now, where I am right now, is going to be an influential resource and tool to help the next person realize their I can in purpose, business, and family. Listen, I'm trying to keep this as as, book related as possible. But listen, my mind is going back on a couple of nightcap plus devotionals that I have done, and then talking about the battle of the queens and Queen Esther and Queen Vashti. Your no to something, so someone else is labeling you and causing you to feel as if you are insignificant, will be someone else's yes. Okay, so when you're saying no to accepting that and responding to it and saying, this is who I am, and I'm just going to wear this, and I'm not going to move ahead, I am not going to fulfill my purpose, I'm just going to allow this to swallow me. But instead, if you're saying no to all of these things, it's going to release someone else to say yes. Okay, so you're standing up in the face of being labeled, in the face of being stereotyped, in the face of being ostracized, in the face of being a cast down, in the face of, all the things that Nemesis is wanting to bring into your path, into your face, and want to state the facts. I can say that in spite of all of these things, I can rise to the occasion of who I was called to be, who I was previously meant to be, and where I am. And this is something else that I dropped in this in the first one. And you guys want to go back and listen to catch the replay, catch the kickoff, which you can find that as well on my channel. You're going to want to listen to it, because the gems, the wisdom, and the nuggets, and the transformative thinking that has, that was dropped during this time, it is going to change your paradigm. Okay, it's going to change your emotional way of responding. It's going to change how you receive information, then how you perceive information, and then how you think about it, how you process it, and how it comes out of you. What the output is going to look like. Okay, so another gem that I dropped in that particular the kickoff was the fact that that where I am is not my story. So many people allow that place to be their story and say, this is me, this is it, this is what life has handed me, this is what the situation has handed to me, and this is all that I'm good for, and I'm going to allow this to be my story, and this is how I'm going to tell it. And you're telling it from a victim mentality. You're telling it from a poor state mentality. You're telling it from a place of not understanding your purpose, not understanding your power, not understanding your position, not understanding your authority. And so you begin to allow the facts to become your story, instead of telling the facts that this is not my truth, this is contradictory to who I know I am, this is contradictory to who I perceive that I am, and I'm pushing towards. And even before I even became a single parent, or whatever hardship, or never in your wildest dream that you have had to face, and the facts are trying to dictate to you and tell you, this is all you're good for now, this is all you're worth now, this is all you're capable of doing now, this is all you're capable of putting out now. No, we are going to look our facts in the face and say, truth is this. Truth is, I know that I am able to do greater works. I know that my purpose is so much greater than the facts. And so I'm going to allow my purpose to lead and guide me. I'm going to allow my dreams and my visions to be my vehicle over the facts, to be my bulldozer over the facts. I'm not going to downplay the facts, because they are there. There's some things that I can learn with the facts. There's some things that I can understand and gain more wisdom and leverage. But these are not my story. This is not going to be who I am when I already know who I am. Okay, so the AuthorTube kickoff was amazing, and it also talks about a whole lot of more goodies that you want to be a part of. Okay, and please go back and watch the first one so you can get up to speed to see where we are today. Okay, and this brings us to the Q&A part of the AuthorTube. All right, and the Q&A part is simply you asking your questions. You've read the book, or you listened to the excerpts. I said something that may have sparked a a question or a curious, thought, or it may have sparked or triggered an emotion. It may have triggered a memory. It may have triggered an event, a circumstance, a challenge, and you see yourself in this same space, in this same place, and trying to maneuver and navigate in this area the best way possible. And you want to ask that question. You want to ask that question either about the book itself. You want to ask that question, well, it's also everything that we're doing, what took place on Saturday. So that's what we're asking questions on the excerpt reading from Saturday, or even if you have read the book yourself and you have questions that you need some more clarity on, you want to gain some how-tos, you want to gain some insight, you want to know how you can maneuver yourself in these spaces, and so you want to ask those questions. This is the space for that. This is the place for that, and we welcome the questions. Okay, we welcome the questions that is based off of what I just gave. Okay, so with that said, listen, we're going to take a moment. We're going to allow you to gather your questions. I'm going to allow you to place them in the comments, and then we're going to be back in 30 seconds so that we may be able to go ahead and answer those questions. We'll be back. Welcome back. Okay, you guys, I know you all have put your questions in the comments and you're waiting to see the answer to the questions. All right. And if you didn't get a chance to put the questions in the comments right now, and when I go back and watch the replay and see where you left your questions and all those things, I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer those questions for you. But I do have a question from Joseph Stevens. He did not mind me, shouting out his name. Thank you so much. And it's actually on my phone. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the question and then I'm going to answer the question. Okay.
Okay. So far, like I said, I'm on section 3 right now, on the rejection section, and I would like to ask, one of the questions I do have is that, do you think that it would be helpful for whenever you explain some of these things, in order for people to relate to, as in to give a scenario, like write a scenario in the story, point out the things that you're talking about or whatnot, and then seeing how you could apply what your eye can to that situation, or whatever the case may be, if you understand what I'm saying about my question. So, for example, you're basically writing in and almost like a play, like you go into a scene, you plan out an example of what it looks like on certain things, the nemesis kick in and all these other different things, and then wish I can come and pop in and tell you these things, and then you can see the result once they start following through and things like that. Have you ever thought about doing that in your books to give people a illustration of that? Okay.
All right, Mr. Joseph Stevens, that was a very, very good question. I'm so glad that you asked that question and that you got it out the way that you knew how to get it out, to explain what you are talking on and what you're wanting to know about this particular my writing style. And let me give you a little share what the AuthorTube is all about. The AuthorTube is all about you becoming familiar with my writing, becoming familiar with how I tell my stories, how I share information, and just becoming familiar with me as an author. You may not have come across many authors such as myself and the way that I deliver my messages in my book. And so therefore, your question was a very, very great question. Gives me something else to think about and chew on for many different readers and many different listeners, and how they read, what works for them, what type of information and how it's laid out, how it would help them really get the information even more better. And I know I asked you if this would help you specifically, from the question that you asked, I know I asked you if this would help you specifically in, understanding or reading and all those things. And you said yes. So I want to say thank you so much for your question. I thank you so much for taking the time out to read the book. Yay. So you guys, men are reading the book as well. So it's just not for women. Okay. So I just want you to know that. But to answer your question, listen. Okay, this is my first book, and you have given me something to think about on future books. If this is the way that God allows me to read or to write books, or that's my style of writing. But what I can say is I have another project that I'm working on, and so for those of you who are like to read the way that Joseph asked that question, to break it down and to give examples as far as how I can, as he stated, would show up and give lessons or give ways to overcome certain challenges. Listen, the way this book is written, it is for you to really coach yourself, because this book has questions and you'll be able to discover the answers yourself. You'll be able to answer those questions that he asked, for yourself, and to write down how you can overcome this particular, rejection in your life. What are some ways? What are some things that you can do? What can you tell yourself? This is why this is a very powerful tool. It's not about how I'm interpreting things for you, but it's about how you are interpreting things and how you are allowing your I can to rise up to the occasion and begin to tell you, this is how you can put, this is the wisdom to use right here. This is the knowledge that I'm giving you to use right here. And so you have it in you. You have the resources, and you have the potential. You have the wisdom, and you have the knowledge. Sometimes it takes a little digging into to get it out. And so that's where this project that I'm working on is going to come in play. Okay, you guys, and you guys stay tuned for that. And I'm going to share even more, throughout the AuthorTube tour, what project I'm working on that is going to really answer it is the answer, or an answer to what Joseph Stevens has asked, which was like I said, an amazing question, a great question. And I really appreciate you taking time out to ask that particular question. Okay, so at this time, we're going to give you another break, just in case you have some questions that you want to ask and you don't really know how to put it into words right now, and you need a little bit more time to think about it. So I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, and then we'll be back, and then we will answer those questions, and we are going to allow you guys to have a lovely day. All right, so see you in 30 seconds. I'm so glad that you guys are hanging on with me during this event, this AuthorTube. I'm so glad that you stayed and that you are really seemingly to enjoy the event so far. Okay, so the question that I'm going to answer right now is, how has Agent SMS created a false reality in your life? Oh my gosh, that is a big one. How has Agent SMS created a false reality in your life? And for those of you who do not know what Agent SMS is, we talk about this in my book. So you want to get the book so you can read and that you can get in on the conversation and know these characters. It's a character. She's a character from my book. And so how has Agent SMS created a false reality in your life? Well, one of the ways that she has tried to create a false reality in my life is by people wanting to say that I am playing both roles as father and mother. And I started early on to accept that. Like, I've been a single mom for like since 2015. Okay, and so early on, listening to society, listening to other single moms, listening to other people and how they live in that space of being a single mom, and how other people would always come and say, man, you're doing a great job, you having to be both father and mother. And so I just automatically began to say, take on, or wanted, Angel SMS wanted me to take on that role of being a single mom and being a single father, trying to compensate for those areas that my children may be missing out on. So once I begin to like, no, wait a minute, I am not going to allow, this extra weight to be placed on me. I have no idea what it feels like to be a guy. So a father, I can never be a father or take the place of the father or try to fill in those voids of fatherhood. I can't do that. And never did I try to do that. I began to really understand that I'm mom. I am a woman. I have the only male parts is because we are pulled from Adam's rib, and that is it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I am not trying to, take on that extra hat of being taking the role of compensating, where, people say your children are lacking, or you got to play both roles and all those things. No, I don't. One, God did not tell me to play both roles. He said that he will be a father to the fatherless. And so I took him at his word. And so the way that she wanted to present this false reality in my life is by people telling me when it's Mother's Day, happy Father Days, or you're doing a good job of being both father and mother. I had to stop them in their tracks. Listen, no, that's not me. I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to allow that to be on me, because that then, pushes out room for when God wants to bring a husband into my life, or those male figures, and it confuses. We already dealing with a whole lot of confusion in this world. All right, you guys, identity crisis. And so I had to go ahead and nip identity crisis in the bud. Right, I had to go ahead and break that and stop that from coming up and taking root in my life and my children's life, because I wanted them to know what it means to be a woman. And when they're looking for their spouse, if they decide to get married, what does it mean? What does femininity looks like, and how to respect women, and how to and then I just share with them how to be great citizens. I don't know. I don't know what men think about. I don't know how men feel. I don't know the testosterone levels of men. And like I was sharing on yesterday in this, on this panel that I was in with Christian Perspective, giving helping Christian males relate to single moms and understanding that and what that looks like. I let them know, like, I may go outside and play football with my children because I was a little tomboyish. That's it. It's not because I'm trying to replace anything. I may go outside and go camping with my children because I want to do these things. I want to just, be the best mom that I can be. I want to just understand, like, I don't have to play both roles, and I tell them I'm not playing both roles. I'm not trying to compensate for anything. I am comfortable with our lifestyle and how we're living. I'm comfortable with being a single mom. I am comfortable with being a single woman, and so therefore I'm not taking on an identity crisis role, because I know my identity, and I want my children to be sure of their identity and understanding who they are and how they don't need to try to uh, be both, try to fill a role of anything else, taking on extra weight, extra things, and they could just be free to be who they are, who God created them to be, who God allowed them to be. And so that's one of the ways that Agent SMS wanted to create a false reality in my life. And I said, no, that's not us. That's not what we're doing. Okay. So I hope that answered your questions and that you all are ready to dig into the book even more. If you have not received your copy of What's Your I Can, Realize Your I Can in Purpose, Business, and Family, go ahead and do so now. Okay. Go ahead, listen, look at the bottom. It's scrolling by. This is how you can get your copy. Okay. And begin to read and begin to break those limiting beliefs, transform your thinking. And it's not just for single parents. Okay. This is just a story or a, how my life transformed. And it's not I promise you, any person that picks up this book, they will be able to find themselves. They be able to see the characters at work or the villains at work, because this book is full. It's layered. I'm telling you, this book is really layered. It is one that the characters are really, really they are something else. They're booger. The characters are something else in this book. And I think we're going to come back. We're going to leave and we're going to come back. We're going to do another 30-second break. Okay. And then we're going to come back. We're going to read the questions that anyone may have. Put in the comments below. Or if you have a question, that you have already submitted to me, we're going to come back and we're going to read those questions. Okay. So let's say in another 30 seconds, we will see. Welcome to our final session for today's AuthorTube. Listen, I'm Christy Angelie, the successful tight and single mom. I don't even think I introduced myself. I am now author. Okay. So we're going to squash all of those titles and just say I'm author. I'm an author, you guys. And so here we are with this Q&A section from my previous, airing on Saturday, asking those questions, and I'm answering those questions. And so the question that we have at this moment is, what are some things that have left you feeling rejected? Man, what are some things that have left me feeling rejected? That's a good one. I struggle with rejection. Man, as you know, all the way up until maybe 2 years ago, what are some things that left me feeling rejected? And this is a combination of things. And I talk about it in this book of, places where I felt rejected, dealing with been in a community of people with sometimes I felt rejected in my own family because one, I'm a totally different color than them, and then my eyes are tight, and then I have this, beauty mark on my face that I really didn't accept as a beauty mark. I thought it was a hideous thing, and so I dealt with that spirit of rejection, that nemesis who wanted to, swallow me up. It really did. It really did. Rejecting, if I was good enough, I dealt with, I'm a singer. And so, that is one area that I felt, rejected in, like, well, no one wanted me to sing at praise and worship or anything like that. I did not always have the best singing voice, okay? But to God be all the glory. I can do background and all those things, but I knew that there was something greater in me that needed to come out. But at the same token, when you have greatness in you, other people will be intimidated by the greatness in you because they don't see the greatness within themselves. And so when you don't know the greatness within you or know how to interpret everything, rejection come in and tell you how to feel, how to handle it, how to interpret these things. So some of the things, so that's one thing. Singing has, left me feeling rejected, but I'm healed from that. Let's say being in relationships, that really didn't leave me feeling rejected. I don't think I felt rejected in relationships. No, I don't think so. It's more so dealing with who I am as my purpose. So that area. So I feel like in my book I share that as well, where doors were seemingly closed, and areas where I felt rejected in who I was as a person, like the gifts that I have, and the skills, and just me. Even let me tell you this, when I even moved to Texas, and all of the challenges that I faced, it took me so long to get my license. Y'all, I just got my license like this year, okay? And I've been in Texas for 7 years, and every time I tried to get my license, it was one thing after another. So I felt like Texas was rejecting me, okay? I felt like Texas didn't want me to be here. And so there are, different areas where I felt like rejection, or I felt rejected, and it showed up in my life. And so after I just kept plummeting through, I kept telling myself, I'm going to get my license. I'm going to get this. I'm going to make this happen. There was the weight lifted off, and I started to understand the reason why, I may have felt as if Texas was rejecting me, because of it's a spiritual thing, you guys. And so I understood the assignment that God has on my life in Texas. And so the Prince of Persia didn't want me here. The Prince of Texas, the keep Austin weird and seeming like everything is going what wants to go, lasciviousness, didn't want Christy here, because Texas knew, the spirit of Texas knew that Christy was going to has an assignment on her life. And one of the assignment was, is for this book, is in this book. This is one of the assignments, and Texas did not want that to happen. So I dealt with that. I overcame that. I am good. I understand now what rejection looks like and the purpose of rejection. And so I talk about that in the book as well, so that it gives you tools and insight in a different field. These are characters that takes place in, throughout the book that you can relate to, and you can kind of look at and say, oh, I understand. I dealt with that, and I'm dealing with that. And this is how I can overcome those things. So thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of my AuthorTube Q&A. I hope that you have gained wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and that I will see you tomorrow for day 3. Okay, go ahead and share this with someone. Subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this particular, event with the next person. Okay, love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.